Well, the defense side of the L&T story is not often talked about or focused on, but that is exactly what we intend to do here today with Chairman A.M. Naik. Mr. Naik, thanks very much for joining us on CNBC TV 18. From submarines to missiles to special forgings, radars, avionics, the BrahMos, Akash, Pinaka, as I pointed out, not too much emphasis on the defense aspirations of L&T, but this is clearly going to be an area of big focus for you going forward?
It is becoming of that. We actually had a vision of getting into defense more than 30 years ago. In 1986 is when we started developing defense equipment and defense systems along with DRDO, and that covered missile programs and that covered the launching systems and so on. And a lot of them, 5 missiles came out of that joint development between 1986 and 1991. But then, we were not allowed to manufacture anything. We had to give back the drawings and give back the prototypes what we made, because we didn't have a license. And only public sector unit, defense units, were allowed to really manufacture. So there came a time when they were not able to deliver, even after giving the drawings and equipment. And then more and more and more, the government itself became somewhat liberal, and the license Raj began to evaporate from 1992. And the defense, I would say, could have happened in 2000 or 2001. This government, or rather BJP government, was all ready to declare that, but they lost the election.
Yes.
And therefore it did not happen. It would have been actually 10 years before that the privatization should have started. During the ruling of the previous government, the defense became again more of a government domain than the private sector. So nothing much came out for private sector to do. Now with this government, 3 years ago, they declared that private sector should participate in the India's defense program. And slowly it has been moving, I would say certainly, but not fast enough. I am hoping that over the next 1 or 2 years, the defense program will take a much faster move, and L&T will be at the forefront as even today, or for that matter, it will be. And we think that over a 5-year plan, which we have declared as Project Lakshya, in 2021, we should do about 10,000 crore a year of defense equipment.
Okay. So 10,000 crores worth of defense equipment by 2021. But what is the kind of opportunity that you see? You talked about the need for the government to move faster. You believe it's not moving fast enough. Things have improved significantly, but there is still a degree of indecisiveness as well as delays. I'll give you one example, the FICV, and I believe you're waiting with bated breath as well for the government
We have been rating #1.
Yes, to make that announcement. We were expecting that to have happened in December. We're today in February, and there is still no clarity. So, the delay in decision making, does that sort of confine your aspirations for this sector?
We don't give up. We have patience, much that we would like it to move much faster, so that we can get on with the job, and what we really are planning for 2021 does happen in 2020, so that things begin to move. But it is not really happening that fast as one would like to have. FICV is one example you gave, but there are many other examples.
But, if I were to ask you, since you're talking about keeping the faith and continuing with your efforts to try and make inroads into the defense space in India, you've just done a joint venture which was inked 24 hours ago with MBDA for the surface-to-air missile. This is your second joint venture that you've done in the defense space. Are we likely to see you go through the joint venture route? Are we likely to see more sort of project-by-project joint bidding, joint program approach?
There are 3 ways we can work in defense. There are many systems which we are homemade, done by Larsen & Toubro with DRDO or on our own. They will go on, and that will represent more than 1/3 of our turnover in defense. Then there is a joint venture, project by project. They will be the majority, because each project could be 25,000, 30,000. For example, conventional submarine is 40,000 crore program, right? Now that one project itself will go on for 6 years at the rate of 5 to 6,000 crore a year, right? Similarly, helicopter dock and landing device, and that will be about 15,000 crore. So that will, these major programs will be project by project cooperation because they are not something which are going to be repeated like missile. You need 100,000 missiles. So you have a long-term agreement like we did with MBDA. You know, 51 us and 49 them.
Yes. Okay. Since you're talking about the DRDO and PSUs, defense PSUs, let me also ask you about the possibility of L&T looking at any of these PSUs that are up for strategic divestment. The market is abuzz with the possibility of L&T actually looking at BEML. I know you've clarified and said that you're not looking at BEML, but would any of these strategic disinvestment candidates interest you?
I think this talk is going on for more than, I think, couple of decades. So let it come by. And then we will
if it were to come by, which we understand that it may.
I think today, I really don't know the health of each PSU. We haven't gone into detail, neither possibly we would be allowed to go and study that. So whether it makes sense or not, I don't know whether L&T should alone do it in a most efficient, optimal manner, or take a load of perhaps a lot of people and inefficiency, and then of course, we will not be able to reduce the people, we won't be able to optimize, and therefore, I think it will be very carefully looked at which PSU possibly will be a better thing to do.
I'm looking at some numbers, and this is the number that's been put out by Credit Suisse. Your total order book currently is about 2.6 lakh crores. The defense business is just about 2% of your order book at about 5,200 crores. You see this changing, this picture changing significantly over the next 3 to 5 years?
I think it is going to change. You see, as I mentioned to you, what you are waiting eagerly for, you asked me.
Yes.
And I said we are eagerly waiting for 3 to 4 years since talked about 75I submarine. And we get into the strategic partnership, right? That is 40,000 crore, right? And that will itself contribute 5 to 6,000 crore per year. After first 2 years are planning and design and development and ordering material. But if you were to get the order today, in 2019 it will be full speed in the shop.
Okay.
So that is important. Helicopter device is important. Gun program, which we are hopefully getting next month, at 4,600 crore of one kind of gun. There are 3 different kinds of guns which are going to come worth more than 15,000 crore. So if you really go by plan and what is being talked about in Defense Ministry, provided they get all the resources that they want, is something which will considerably enhance the percentage from 2 to, I would say, 5 or 6.
So would it be fair then to say that over the next 5 years, perhaps it could be a 70,000 to 80,000 crore rupee opportunity?
Easily.
Easily?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have added up all the opportunity that comes to 70,000.
Okay. So
and provided which I am doubtful, I have not counted. So
you haven't. The 70 to 80,000 doesn't include the doubtful ones, is it?
No. This should happen.
Okay.
Where finance is allocated.
Okay. In terms of investments, or you've already got
where private sector is, by the way, allowed to participate.
Where private sector is allowed to operate.